Hi friends, it's Misty W. I've missed you. Over the last 6 weeks, I've been thinking a lot about what you've been doing, what you've been thinking, what you've been saying, what you've been feeling. Well, I'm really happy to know that your teachers recently assigned to you a journal to keep during our time under quarantine while we're dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. And I'm really happy about that because a journal is a great place to keep all of these thoughts, feelings, sayings, and doings. Before we start writing, I thought we would take some time to think about why we journal. Because with all forms of writing, there's a why we do it. I know you know that. So, what is our purpose when we journal? When we journal, our purpose is to keep a written record of what it's like to live during this unique moment in time when we're away from school and learning from home. This is a very, very unique time, friends. It hasn't happened in 100 years when the entire world is suffering from the same thing. Everybody is on lockdown, right? We are away from school. Shops are closed. We don't see our friends. We don't go to the park. Some of our parents are working from home. Other of our parents are going to work and wearing masks. It's a very unique time, and it's important that we document what's going on for a specific audience, because you guys know whenever we write, we always have an audience in mind. Now, our audience, when we're writing a journal, is just like our audience whenever we write a journal. It's for our future self. When we're old, you're probably wondering, why do I need to write to myself when I'm old? Well, let me tell you a secret. When you're old, like me, you forget about most of the things that happened to you when you were little. My son, he doesn't believe me. He said, no, I'll remember all of these things. And I told him, I don't remember more than a few things that happened to me in third grade or first grade or fifth grade. Well, in a journal, we can keep all of those memories recorded so that when we're older, we can look back and remember what was life like at home when I was a third grader, when I was a first grader, when I was a fifth grader. What were my favorite books? What was my favorite food? Who were my friends? What music did I listen to? What games did I play? So your audience is yourself in the future. But a journal, especially in this time, is also going to serve their audience, which is future historians. Now, historians are people who look back at events in the past to study what life was like back then. So, and historians love to study journals because in the future, those historians are going to want to look back and say, what was life like during the coronavirus pandemic? And they'll be able to look at newspapers, but to look at journals will help them understand what life was like for people living at home, for day to day, for kids who often don't get into the newspapers, right? For your parents, your grandparents, anybody can keep a journal of what life was like, and those historians are going to study it to make sense and understand what life was like back then and how they could improve life if anything like this happens again. That's why historians study the past, is so that we don't repeat any of the bad things that are happening now. So therefore, our journal becomes a product, right? It becomes a thing that lives out in the world. And the kind of product that our journal is a source document. Like when you guys write an informational book, it becomes like a book you could put into the library for people to study a certain topic, right? Well, your journal is going to become a source document, and a source document is an original piece of information. Your journal, you are the source of the information that's coming from this time period. And in our journal, we're going to share this information so that your journal becomes a source of information in the future. So your journal is actually the most important thing that you can be writing while we're under quarantine. So friends, anytime you take out your journal, whether it's 1 time a week or 2 times a week, more 5 times a week, I hope it's not 1 time a week, but as life is different in all of our houses, whenever you take out your journal to write, I want you to remember what the goal, what the purpose of our journaling is, and it's to keep a written record of this unique time. Okay? Very, very important that you do this work. Now, one more thing before I leave. You can keep a journal online in a Google Doc. You can keep a journal on a video. You can do a video journal. But you might want to actually get pen to paper and make your own journal, whether it's a notebook or a journal that you make, which I'll show you in the next video, because these are the kinds of things that you can put into a box and open up in years to come. So in my next video, I'm going to show you how to make a quarantine journal out of recycled material. I hope you'll join me there, and I can't wait to read what you write and to hear about your progress journaling. Friends, off you go. I'll see you soon.